What is up everyone, Movie Worm back again with another ranking video, and today I'm going to be ranking all three Fear Street movies. I've reviewed each one of these on the channel, so if you want to check out them reviews, the link to each one of them will be down below. And this was a strange decision from Netflix. I don't think I've ever seen this before, where they release a new movie week after week, and with it being a slasher franchise, or paranormal slasher if you like, I was all over that. I couldn't believe it that they were going to do one in 1994, which is the era I grew up in. And we got one from 1978, which is all going to take place in a summer camp. I was like, whoa, my mind was blown. I was like, I'm all up for this. It just came out of left field from nowhere. And of course, we got the final one, 1666, which wasn't one I was particularly looking too forward to, but it quite surprised me. Now, I did rate all of these films quite on the same level here, and whatever it is in third place, it doesn't mean I didn't like it, because there were just little things that I liked more about the two ahead of it. So I mean, I'm gonna put one third obviously, which I'll get to in a minute, but it doesn't mean I didn't like the film or anything. And this is going from worst to best. You know how rankings work. The last one I talk about is the best, of course. So let's just get into it. In third place, coming in third place, is going to be Fear Street Part 1, 1994. This is the one I was most looking forward to because I grew up in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. Okay, I'm born in the 80s, but all my memories were in the 90s there. And this had a very strong opening. It kind of echoed the film's Scream a little bit, with this killer who's got like this big black cape on him and a mask, and he's taunting this girl on the phone who's working at this bookstore, and he eventually brutally kills her. And I thought it was a fantastic opening, definitely the best opening of the whole trilogy for me. And there's some creative kills in there as well, especially where that girl's head is just thrown through the bread slicer towards the end of the film there. That was grim to watch, but that's what we're here for in these slasher films, isn't it? To see these inventive kills. And like I said, I grew up in the 90s, and there was a lot of nostalgic throwbacks here. That young kid playing on the Sega Mega Drive, I was just like, wow, that's my childhood right there, what he's doing right now. And there was some chat rooms that he was talking in, trying to uncover the mystery of Shadyside. And I thought, before social media was around, that's what I used to do, just talk to people I didn't even know in these chat rooms. And it was just a nice little throwback. That's what we had there. He's got this big screen, PC monitor and stuff. It was just fun to have them throwbacks. I hope that more movies do this and base their films in the 90s, because with the 80s has been done to death. Stranger Things, the remake of it, and I would love to see more movies take place in the 90s there. And it was just good to see this mystery of Shadyside. We didn't quite know what was going on, but we knew something wasn't quite right with this town, and it was good to be kept as a little bit of a mystery there throughout this one. It does uncover a bit more as the films go on, but it had a good concept. My biggest problem with this one, and probably one of the biggest reasons it's come in third place, is the characters. I couldn't get on board with hardly any of them. Dina, the main character, is having this spat with an ex-lover called Sam, and all they did was shout at each other back and forth. And in the end, I just grew really frustrated. I didn't like either of them because it was just tit-for-tat arguments all the time. And if anyone, Dina was more in the wrong out of the two, I felt. But she's the one we're meant to get behind. Just didn't quite work for me. I didn't care in the end if either of them were killed because I just couldn't latch on to either of them, just because of dialogue and the arguments they constantly have. And there was a couple of other characters here that just weren't doing it for me at all. I mean, there's this one guy who's just doing gross things throughout the film, and I just hated him. But all in all, this was still a decent slasher. I had a fun time with it. So in third place is Fear Street Part 1, 1994. Coming in second place is going to be Fear Street Part 3, 1666. Now, this was the one I wasn't looking forward to the most, and this is mainly because of the time period. It's just not really a century that I care too much about. I mean, I was looking forward to the 90s and the 70s one way more. And this is definitely a two-part movie, because for the last 45 minutes we go back to 1994 for the whole wrap-up. And it even says Fear Street Part 2 at 1994 when that happens. but the first hour is all in 66. And can you believe it? This was my favourite part of the film, the one that I wasn't expecting. The first hour was definitely the strongest part of this movie for me. And what I liked about it most is the fact that we've been hearing all these flashbacks and rumours about what actually happens at the start of Shadyside in the first two movies, but we are actually put there as a viewer ourselves. We get to see what really happened once and for all, instead of hearing all these sound bites and stuff and people assuming what had happened. And it was nice to be put in the shoes of Sarah Fier as well, who's played by the character of Dina from the first movie. I think her name's Kiana Madeira, which I'll touch on in a minute. But like I said, it was just nice to see it all play out for ourselves, and I liked the way the film put a little bit of a twist on things. Everything we thought happened didn't quite go the way that is told in the previous two films, so that was a good little piece of writing there for that idea, and definitely threw us off as a viewer. I just didn't see that coming at all. But one thing I did think I wasn't gonna like at all in this movie was seeing the cast members from 1994 playing these characters in this one. So the character of Dina, played by Kiana Madeira, is playing Sarah Fier in this, and I thought this is going to be really frustrating, it's going to annoy me, but after 5 minutes I totally got used to it. And in fact, I liked her performance way more in this one than the Fear Street Part 1. It was never the acting in Fear Street Part 1, it was just the characters and what was written for them, but she was way more likeable here along with all the other cast members. So definitely the best part of this one is the whole 1666 era. It was just seeing this town, and when the curse actually happens and all the vegetation rotting and the animals going crazy and stuff, you knew something was going to start happening here, and you were just thinking, oh, I wonder what has actually caused this curse, and we do finally find out. The second part of the movie, I really didn't care for. I think it could have been wrapped up in about 15 minutes, and I would have liked to stayed in 1666 for way longer for the runtime. But it just shows you can't judge a book by its cover, or in this case, a film by its cover, because I wasn't looking forward to this at all, and it was the best part of the movie. So in second place is Fear Street Part 3, 1666. And if you haven't guessed it by now, coming in at number 1 is going to be Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Now, when I seen the trailer for this one at the end of Fear Street Part 1, because each movie does show a trailer for the next one at the end, I was really hyped because it just looked like a Friday the 13th film, or had echoes of The Burning from 1980 there, and I was just thinking, wow, this is a location for a horror film. And definitely, because it's a subgenre of slasher as well, we just had to have one here, didn't we? And there was a lot of throwbacks to people who loved them films in the 80s and stuff. And I just love it when you find out there's a killer on the loose and everyone in the camp starts panicking. He could come through any of the cabins at any second and stuff. And the killer in this one was brilliant. Tommy was just such a menacing villain. He kind of reminded me of Jason. I mean, they even paid homage to Friday the 13th Part 2 here by putting this sack head on him and stuff. I thought that was a brilliant touch. But he's like the Terminator here. I mean, he just kills someone and then goes to the next. He has only one thing in mind, and that is to kill his next victim, and nothing will stop him. And some of the kills here were off screen, which really annoyed me, but there was some ones at the end that really did pick up. Thought Sissy Spacek was really a strong character in this. My favourite character in the whole of this franchise. She's just someone who's really tough and you get on board with it. And the characters here were really good as well. There was only one side character that really let it down for me, and that was Alice. The movie makes her out to be a real bad bitch at the start, and by the end it wants us to latch onto it a little bit and feel sorry for her, and I was just like, no, just kill her. It's done. The damage is done here. But I really did enjoy this one. Like I said, the location of the summer camp is just what makes it for me. I even like it when the teenagers are all just like playing pranks on each other and stuff. It's just a good setting, isn't it? So yeah, I got most enjoyment out of Part 2. So in first place is going to be Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed this ranking video. There are rumours that we might be getting another Fear Street trilogy, or another Fear Street movie in general, because Lee Janiak, the director, has stated that she would be really up for it. So who knows? I would welcome this to Netflix. I would like to see them do it again. I don't know how far the story can go, but it'll probably just be one of them that the case isn't over or something like that, won't it? But I just enjoy these slasher films. They're just easy to watch for me, and it was good to see a modern take, especially one that's in a summer camp. So what did you all think of this ranking, guys? Do you agree with me? Do you not? Leave your rankings down below if you want, and I'll get back to every single one of you, I promise. Take it all easy, guys. See you all next video.